Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna. Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe, Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much, Sharan Prabhu. We're very fortunate to have amidst us His Grace Murlidhar Prabhu, virtually all the way from Mumbai. He lives in Borivali with his family. He's a senior disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and he's a senior counselor for last almost 30 years. He's a practicing dentist by profession and a very wonderful devotee. Also, the Brahmin is performing yagyas, wedding ceremonies, and whatnot. So let's welcome him with a loud Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Murlidhar Prabhu, you're online. We will all be off video, and you can be on video.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, I can hear you. Everybody can hear you. Right?
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kanta Namaste तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. My humble obeisances to all of you, dear Prabhus and Matajis. I don't know all of you personally. I know Madhupati Prabhu, I know Devkinanda Prabhu, and maybe some others if I know by face. But anyway, we are all members of same family, and uh, offer my gratitude to all the spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada for giving us such a wonderful opportunity to pursue our Krishna consciousness. So today I'm just going to present on one very important topic. I normally make it interactive with other uh, groups. Sometimes it goes on for a full day, but then I'll try to you know some other compress it in 1 hour's time. But it's very important topic for all of us to uh, understand, and after the session is over, we can take it back as homework for you, and then uh, add on to whatever I just speak. So the topic for today is how the Lord and his devotees make themselves relevant. If you see, uh, whenever the Lord incarnates, all of us know that he has a purpose for which he incarnates. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So we all know why and why is he incarnating. The way he incarnates, that is something very interesting. In a sense, how does he come? He comes in a way by which he makes it himself relevant to the existing situation. Like for example, he came as incarnation of Varaha Dev. Why did he come as a boar incarnation? For a particular purpose, because the Mother Earth was submerged under the Garbhodaka ocean, and then he had to lift it out. And the only way he can do it is that by taking incarnation of a boar. No other way he could have done that. Why? Because he wanted to make us relevant, that this is the only way that it can be. Meena Sharira, Keshavadrita Meena Sharira. He takes the incarnation of a fish, because that time, he had to sail across the Vedas, the Rishis, across this Bhavasagar during the Pralay. So that's why he took the incarnation of Meena, the fish. He incarnated as Narasimha Dev because Hiranyakashipu had taken a vow that he cannot be killed by any man nor an animal, outside, inside, neither by weapons, up, down, day, night. So he had made a full insurance, life insurance of himself. But, Lord had, better solutions for this, options. He just came as Narasimha avatar incarnation, and then he could tear apart Hiranyakashipu's stomach. He also comes as how he comes as Vaman Dev, because he had to beg alms from Bali Maharaj. But he also came as a dwarf, because when you go to Bali Maharaj as an elderly Brahman, probably Bali Maharaj would not have been so overconfident in giving the alms which he is asking for. But Bali Maharaj, Vaman Dev, because he was a dwarf, Bali Maharaj thought that, oh, his intelligence is so small. What can he ask? So he was overconfident in giving him 3 steps of land which he was asking for. So if you see, the Lord incarnates at every moment, just in a way by which he makes himself relevant to the existing situation, and also he does it in a way by which he can contribute himself to the society. What I was just trying to think about myself. I'm a dentist, so when I go to my clinic to work on the patients, I have a particular uniform to wear. You know, I have a gown, I have an apron, and my assistant also an apron. I have a particular ambience in the clinic which is conducive for dental treatment procedures. I don't just walk into the clinic in a dhoti kurta, or I don't just walk into a clinic in a, you know, a three-piece suit. You know, so I do it which is really relevant to the existing situation there. You know, if I have to go to operation theater to work, I need to wear a particular gown which is suited for that particular environment. If I have to go for a marriage reception, then I wear a three-piece suit. If I go for a marriage ceremony, then I wear a dhoti and kurta to wear and go. So I just make myself relevant. If I come for a satsang, then I don't come in a three-piece suit, you know, or a pajama. I would come in a dhoti and kurta. So basically, like, you know, in our day-to-day activities also, we see that we make ourselves, you know, relevant, which is conducive to that, you know, environment, and which is in harmony, with the situation around. So the Lord comes in that particular way, which is making it himself relevant to the existing situation. What to speak of himself? Even the yugas, you know, there is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. So even the yugas, if you see, they also, you know, are conducive to the existing environment. Satya Yuga, the, you know, way of attaining self-realization was meditation. Why? Because, you know, the lifespan was quite long, and also, you know, the environment was conducive for, you know, meditating for years and years and years. Giving you an example, like, you know, being from India, you know, when I go to Himalayas or when I go to Kashmir, like a very scenic place, you know, your mind automatically calms down. You know, you just don't run around from one place to another place when you're in a place like Kashmir, because the environment is so nice, so cool. You know, you feel that I should sit there and just, you know, meditate. I should sit there and just, you know, do some uh, yoga, or maybe I should just sit and absorb the environment. So naturally it becomes like that because the environment is like this, you know. So that's why people there had the strength, they had the capacity, they had a lifespan. That's why the recommended process was meditation. Kritayod dhyato Vishnu. Tretaya yajito makay. Dwapare paricharayam kalotat harikirtanam. In Treta Yuga, definitely lifespan became reduced, and then still people had some hours and hours of energy to perform yagyas, oblations. The ingredients which are available also were very pure. They could do for hours and hours, you know, yagya in Treta Yuga. So that's why you find in the story of Prabhu Ramchandra, we find that, you know, how when he went to the forest, the rishis were performing yagyas, Vishwamitra Muni took him away into the forest, you know, so that they can perform their yagyas very nicely, and they can be protected from the Rakshasas. So you find that, you know, that was the recommended process for attaining self-realization. But then came Dwapar Yuga. Again, the lifespan got reduced. The strength also reduced as compared to what was in Satya Yuga. The ability to perform hours and hours of tapasya also became less. That's why then the recommended process was worship, deity worship, and then followed Kali Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, what happened? That everything has degraded. Like, you know, people's age has become reduced. Now you find, you know, our grandparents and all would live for about 85, 90 years, 95 years. And now we find even that 60, 70 years, if you're living, that means it's a bonus for you. People leave their body at young ages through heart attacks and so many other things, right? The lifespan is reduced. Memory has gone down. The strength has reduced. Everything is reduced. You have no energy to perform big tapasyas. We cannot sit at one place and meditate for hours. Difficult. We cannot stand on one foot like Hiranyakashipu did, you know, even for about 15 minutes. So this is what is the state of Kali Yuga, right? So that's why the Lord made this relevant for us. Okay, in this age of Kali Yuga, then Hari Kirtan, you know, chanting the names of the Lord. So that was what was recommended for this age of Kali Yuga. And we are fortunate enough to be here because we are getting that opportunity to chant the holy names of the Lord. We all know why Buddha incarnated. Buddha incarnated because at that time, under the pretext of following the Shastras, people were doing animal killing. So Buddha, Lord had to come in the form of Buddha again to make it relevant to them, just telling them that, listen, you don't have to follow any of the scriptures, just follow me. That's all. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. So just follow me and everything will be all right. And the people, discarded the Vedas. They just followed Buddhas. Buddhism spread so wide and far away from Bharatvarsha. Then ultimately, the Lord had to send his very dear devotee Shiva in the form of Shankaracharya and then try to re-establish the Vedas, telling the people that actually what you are following is the same thing what you are doing, but from the point of view of the Vedas. And that's how he brought back people to the Vedic fold, but then discarding the form of the Lord, you know, how Buddha discarded form, but he just discarded form of the Lord, but he just got them to the Shastra. But then to make people, come back and take shelter of the Lord through the process of bhakti, then the great acharyas advented, you know, from the four sampradayas, the Sri Sampradaya, the Madhva Sampradaya, the Vishnu, that is Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. And the four great acharyas, Sripad Ramanacharya from the Sri Sampradaya, Sripad Madhvacharya from the Brahma Sampradaya, Sripad Vishnu Swami from the Rudra Sampradaya, and Nimbarka Acharya from the Kumara Sampradaya. They advented and they started what is the Bhakti boom. The Bhakti process for this age of Kali Yuga was presented by these four prominent acharyas from four sampradayas and made it relevant to the people whom they were preaching. Made it so relevant that they can connect themselves, they could connect themselves to the process of bhakti, and they were doing that. And then finally, what happened is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented 500 years back. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did such a wonderful thing that, he actually combined all the principles of all these four sampradayas and gave us a wonderful package. He gave us a package by which we can practice bhakti, in totality. And the way he has presented, it's like a master stroke by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did he do? He just took two principles from each of these four sampradayas, and put it in a capsule form and present to us, and just told us that there's no need to do anything else. I have given you whatever you're required for your progress in devotional service. He took the two principles from Sri Sampradaya. The first one is Ananya Bhakti, that is devotional service free from Gyan and Karma. And the second one he principally took, he said, Bhakta Jana Seva. That means service to the Vaishnavas. I repeat, Ramanujacharya's two principles, Ananya Bhakti and Bhakta Jana Seva. He has taken these two principles from Sri Ramanujacharya Sampradaya. The principle of unalloyed devotion, free from Gyan and Karma, and principle of Bhakta Jana Seva, that means service to the Vaishnavas. Then he just took two principles from Madhvacharya Sampradaya. What was it? Kevala Advaita Nirashana. Kevala Advaita Nirashana means defeating of the Mayavad philosophy. And then Krishna Murti Sevana. Krishna Murti Sevana means deity worship. So two principles, I repeat again. Kevala Advaita Nirashana, that is only Advaita, that's the Advaita, defeating of that philosophy, that is Mayavad philosophy, and Krishna Murti Sevana, that means deity worship. By accepting these two principles, he just established that the Lord has a form and he needs to be worshipped in a particular way, and also the Mayavad philosophy of Nirveshesh, Nirvakar, Nirakar. Then the two principles he took from Vishnu Sampradaya was, he said, Tadiya Sarvasva Bhava. That means total dependence on Krishna. That is completely dependent on Krishna. And Raganuga. Raganuga is Rag Marg, that is path of spontaneous devotional service. So these are two principles he took from Vishnu Sampradaya. And afterwards, that is Rudra Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami. Sorry, I'm saying Rudra Sampradaya, that is Vishnu Swami. And then the fourth one is Ekanta Radhika Ashraya, exclusive shelter of Srimati Radharani and Gopi Bhav, that is exalted position of the gopis. This is from the Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya, that is Kumar Sampradaya. So these 8 principles, very important for us to remember. Sripad Ramanacharya, Ananya Bhakti and Bhakti Jana Seva. From Madhvacharya, deity worship and defeating the Mayavad philosophy. From Vishnu Swami, this Rudra Sampradaya, that is total dependence on Krishna and path of spontaneous devotion. And from the Kumar Sampradaya, that is Nimbarkacharya, is exclusive shelter, Ekant Radhika Ashraya and Gopi Bhav, that is exalted position of gopis. Now, if you see that, whatever we need to know or to practice is all there in these 8 principles. In the beginning, like, in a sadhana bhakti, we are asked to, do Vaishnava Seva, and then we are asked to perform bhakti free from Gyan and Karma, and then we are asked to read the Shastras and then understand the Lord as having a form, and then read the Shastra thoroughly so that we can defeat the Mayavad philosophy, and we also have deity worship. And then as you progress in devotional service, then we realize how we are supposed to be totally dependent on Krishna for everything in our life. And then we also understand the path of spontaneous devotional service. And finally, we take exclusive shelter of the of Srimati Radharani and then exalted position of the gopis. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we advented here, our fortune that he just accepted these 8 principles and then put in a capsule, and then he just accepted initiation from Madhvacharya Sampradaya, because just to emphasize the fact that, our main principle is to establish the Lord having a form and defeating Mayavad philosophy. And then he started what is Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and he made it so simple for us and so relevant for us that anyone and everyone can accept this particular process. Not only that, in his personal, when he was there, personally, while he was there preaching, he also, set for so many things which also made relevant for all of us for future ages to come. That was his major contribution also. Like one of the things is that, you know, he just broke through the caste system, right? You can imagine in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see how Subhudirai, who was a Brahmana, just by the sprinkling of water from a Muslim just sprinkling of water on him, he was considered as an outcast. What to speak of 500 years back? Even our grandparents, those are from the south, you can see marriage, or you can even experience that also. When I was going to the village, I would see my grandmother, grandfather, you know, like so orthodox, like, even if somebody from a mlecha would come near their house, they will just smear that floor with the cow dung, you know, and they would not allow them to come, even the shadow to come and, fall on the house. So this was what happening even 50 years, 60 years back. What to speak of 500 years back, when, somebody can be considered as an outcast by just, a water sprinkled by a Muslim on someone. And during that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Haridas Thakur as the Namacharya. You know, Advaita Acharya gave the first Shraddha Patra to Haridas Thakur, who was no one but born in a Muslim family. So can you imagine that, how he accepted Srila Haridas Thakur in the midst of an orthodox system where people would just be so rigid about their caste system. But then he just made it appear, said it known to the world that, if you are chanting the holy name, it doesn't matter from which place or which caste you come from. That was his greatest contribution for us. Not only that, during that time, the Brahmin community and others would say that how can you chant the name of Hare Ram? That time the chanting was Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reversed it to Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then said that this is a mantra which everyone can chant. Anyone can chant, irrespective of from which caste, from which background they have, nothing. Everyone can chant. This is a new mantra. In other words, it's a different mantra. It's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Just like Valmiki Muni, he Narad Muni just told him that you chant Ram, but he could not do that. He said, okay, chant Mara, because he could relate with Mara, because he would all the time, every time kill people. So he knew the word Mara. So he said, okay, chant Mara, 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 Mara. And ultimately, when he was chanting Mara, Mara, you could ultimately chant Ram. Similarly, when you're chanting Hare Krishna, we are chanting the same thing, but then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just reversed it, That's what he did. He was the one who started the first civil disobedience movement, you can say. The first Harinam Sankirtan. Till then, the concept was that you just chant at home. You just do japa. You just sit at home and meditate. Chant at home. You don't show outside. So which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do in Srivas Angan. But then when Chand Kazi, he just broke the mridang and just was traumatizing, torturing the Vaishnavas. Then he came on the streets, and then everyone got an opportunity to take the darshan of the Lord and his Sankirtan movement. That was what was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's contribution. Many more are there. Probably you can, remember through your experiences. When you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can put it down in your notes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the 6 Goswamis, his chief followers, you can say, the 6 Goswamis, he empowered them and they contributed in their own way. They were the next in line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them the principles, and then these people, six Goswamis, made a very big contribution to our society. That is how they made themselves relevant to us by, following the principles which was given to them by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They went to Vrindavan and then recovered the lost holy places where Radha and Krishna had performed their leelas. If it was not for them, probably none of us would have known in Vrindavan what has happened and where the leelas had taken place, where the pastimes have taken place. Because of the six Goswamis, we are now able to experience Vrindavan. You know, we can go to the holy place of Vrindavan and then experience the holy place of Shamakunda, Radhakunda, and so many other places, the Leela Sthalis. Not only that, they built temples. They built temples of their lordships, Shri Radha Govinda, Shri Radha Gopina, Shri Radha Damodar. You know, all these were their principal, their own deities, personal deities. Rupa Goswami Pranadhana He, Shri Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda. So each one's Pranadhan was there. Like how I mentioned that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to establish that the Lord is a form and he has come into this in this world as a Archa Murti, Archa Vigraha. That is one of his way of his presence in this material world is through Archa Vigraha. So they established temples, Radha Madhamohan temple, Radha Govindji temple, Radha Gopinath temple, Radha Sham Sundar temple. So all these people, they established the 7 temples, chief principal temples of Vrindavan and many more temples. So by which we can also go there and take shelter, how their Sambandha, Abhide and Prayojan, Vigrahas. And then also they wrote books, on the basis of the Shastra, they wrote books and established the supremacy of the Lord, and because of which we are able to access so many granthas. Jiva Goswami wrote so many books. Huh? Sanatan Goswami wrote so many. Rupa Goswami wrote. We are all called Rupanugas because we are following Upadesh Amrita. We're following, nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion. Huh? So you can imagine if it was not for them, probably we would not have been able to access these informations. Not only that, they also established how the chanting of the holy name is a supreme thing in this age of Kali Yuga. The supreme benediction in this age of Kali Yuga, chanting the holy names of the Lord. So this is what they made themselves relevant. Then lastly, the Vaishnava etiquette. They followed the Vaishnava principles, the Vaishnava etiquettes in life, and this has given us a path by which we can understand how we should behave, how we should interact, what are the ways that we need to, communicate. All those different aspects of Vaishnava etiquette are being laid down for us. Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami teaches us so many other principles, what to do, what not to do. So this was what was the principal contribution of the 6 Goswamis for us and made it so relevant so that we can easily access the Krishna conscious philosophy. We can easily access the Lord in his Archa Vigraha. We can easily access the principles that we need to follow in our life in order to attain self-realization. So this is what was done by the 6 Goswamis. Then we have Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. No, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he is also called as 7th Goswami. Of course, there are many more other acharyas underneath. We have Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Shamanand Pandit. As I told you, it's like a full day seminar which can be taken. But I'm just trying to highlight certain important points, how the acharyas made things relevant for us and how they contributed to us for our own progress. So in as a sixth, seventh Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, well, he's one Acharya, whom we all Grasthas can look forward to. His greatest contribution is how he balanced his life, through his personal example. Now, if we say that I don't have time, then we can just look into Bhaktivinoda Thakur's lifestyle, and then we can understand that if he can do it, then probably I can also do to some extent. He had 10 children, but in spite of that, he had time to chant his prescribed number of rounds. He took also enough rest, what he needed to for his sustenance. He had time to have his breakfast, lunch, dinner. He had time to write books. He had time to meet people. He had time to go to his office. He was a magistrate, and he had 4 hours. In 4 hours, he could solve so many cases which many others would take months and years, and because of which the British government put a railway track right from his house to the office. But can you imagine his contribution? That's one contribution. The second contribution is that, like, his bhajans, you can say, like, so simple bhajans, but such profound meanings in those bhajans. The Gita-vali, the Padyavalis, like they are like 3-4 lines of bhajans, but then it gives the full spectrum of Krishna conscious philosophy within those bhajans. That was his contribution, and many more, like how we established that depending on the Shastras, like, how we defeated the great, mystic yogi, so many others. If you read the seventh Goswami, we will come to know what were his contributions to us. He is the one who got a that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace was, decided some other place. Some other place was considered as the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. But when Bhaktivinoda Thakur saw, he realized that this is not the place where Lord Chaitanya invented. And then, seeing the Shastras from his personal realization, he could make out that the existing place which is now is the actual birthplace. And to prove that point, he took his spiritual master, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was that time more than 100 years old, 125 years old. And then when he was kept there, he suddenly jumped up. He could not even walk. He was carried by his assistant, by his servant. And when he landed there, he was in a basket. He was not able to even, get up and stand also. But then moment he was kept in that place where the Lord advented, suddenly jumped up. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. So this is the place which was revealed to us by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that was another contribution of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And for that, he actually collected one rupee from each of the residents, just so that, he made them also to contribute to the mission. So if he wanted, he could have just come, connected to 1 or 2 people and contributed, but he made everyone to contribute. That's how he did. And also then another contribution was that he gave us Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, the ray of Vishnu. He prayed to the Lord while he was in Jagannath Puri that please, give me one son who can continue on this legacy. And then, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, Bimala Prasad, he just invented. And then that was, this contribution of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then when you're looking at Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is called a Simha Guru, and he is the person who actually created a revolution. Revolution in a sense, which probably no one would have even thought of doing those things, just to make it relevant. He did something so out of the box that, people would just be sometimes mesmerized. Why is he doing that? Like he was the only person next to the collector, other than collector in Bengal, who had a Rolls Royce. And when people asked, why are you? He said, you go to Rolls Royce and preach. He said, when you have a Rolls Royce and people will remember you. and then people will just accept what you say, you know. So this person was like that. He was a revolutionary when he wanted to have a scientific session for all the intellectual people, you know. He had a full exhibition of, in a very scientific manner of Krishna conscious philosophy, you know, to establish how Krishna consciousness is the only way that we can practice. And for that, to just attract all the intellectuals, he told all his people, followers, that you should come in suit boot. You should come in a coat, you know, and present yourself over there. And that's how his, way of thinking was. Some of the others see how it can be made relevant, how I can attract the mass by, you know, making it some of the other appeal to them in a way which they can accept it. That was his contribution. And not only that, he established 64 Gaudiya Maths. During that time, Acharya would have one or two here and there, but he established 64. Can you imagine 64 at that time while he was present on this planet? He established 64 Gaudiya Maths at different parts, just so that, he can reach out to all the people. You know, people can access those places, and then they can accept the philosophy, they can chant the holy names, they can take shelter of the Lord. That was his contribution to make it relevant. And not only that, he was the first person to actually send his disciples across the shores of the Indian Ocean, across the country, India. You know, before Srila Prabhupada went, he had sent other disciples also. You know, unfortunately, they were not successful in that preaching. But whoever he had met who were capable of, he would just tell them, why don't you go to the West and preach? Why don't you go to the West and preach? Till that time, no other Acharya had done that. But he's the first person who sent his disciples out of the country for preaching. And obviously, we all know that, he also gave this instruction to Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, you and told him that you go to the West and preach in the English language. You are a young man. Why don't you go to the West and preach? The first interaction with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur of Srila Prabhupada was this. Somebody else would have spoken about it after a couple of meetings. But the first meeting of his with uh, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur of Srila Prabhupada was that, go to the West and instruction, go to the West and preach in the English language. This was his contribution to the society. That through Srila Prabhupada, through other disciples, he wanted to just say that, some of the other, the Krishna conscious philosophy reaches far and wide, and people can take advantage of this particular process. And then finally, we have our dear, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Can you imagine what sort of a relevance, what sort of revolution that Srila Prabhupada did? When Srila Prabhupada went to the West, in fact, it was like a lifetime in preparation for him. It took him 40 years to prepare himself to go to the West. The instruction received from Srila Prabhupada was in 1992, and 1966, 65, he just went to America to preach the message of Lord Krishna as prescribed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to the Western countries. At the age of 70, after 40 years, lifetime in preparation, that's why I call it lifetime in preparation, he just went to the West and he started preaching. But the way he preached, he made it so relevant for all of us that anyone and everyone, whatever state of consciousness, whatever age they are, they all can take to this process of Krishna consciousness. One of his contribution was his books, the Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust, the books. When I read Brahma Samhita by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, his language is so high. Sometimes it was difficult for me to digest what he's speaking about. But when I opened Srila Prabhupada's books, the small books, Science of Self-Realization or Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, Teachings of Queen Kunti, and then later on, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, so simple language, so simple. Anyone could accept this particular, process, just read the books and then they can understand. Even somebody who is even new, he is even 1 month old in Krishna consciousness, at least understands the simple basic philosophy of Krishna consciousness, that you are not the body, you are a spirit soul, and then I'm part and parcel of Krishna, and I need to serve. At least principles, basic principles they understand, basic principles they follow. And when they read the books, it doesn't become too much heavy on your brains also. It's easy, very easy to accept it. Simple language, simple language. you know just can you imagine, that's his beauty. Srila Prabhupada gave that to us, gave that to us. He toiled hard day and night, in fact preaching throughout the day but writing books in the night just for us. The only way we can reciprocate with him is that by reading these books every day, by just accepting the philosophy, trying to understand it deeply, and then move forward. So one of his contributions to all of us, he said, my books are the law books for the next 10,000 years. Who can say that? Who can say that? You know, nobody has the guts, the present, whoever is maybe, nobody has that, guts to say that my law, these are the books for the next 10,000 years. But Srila Prabhupada can say that. He had the guts to say, my books are the law books for the next 10,000 years. Can you imagine? That is the contribution of Srila Prabhupada for all of us. The another contribution, and made it relevant to all of us, is that he made Rath Yatras, or he established deity worships, temples all over the world. While he was there, he had established 108 temples and so many farm communities, right? He preached the simple philosophy of simple living, high thinking. So he established farm communities. He established temples and established deities, Radha Krishna deities, Gaunita deities, Jagannath Baldev, Subhadra deities, so that we can somehow engage ourselves in serving the Lord through that, our principles. Basically, we understand discipline, we understand principles, how to follow, what to follow in our life, And the best part, the third contribution is that, for making relevant, that he established this morning program for us. Getting in the morning, attending Mangal Aarti, then Tulsi Puja, and then afterwards Guru Puja, Bhagavatam class. The beauty is, can you imagine this? If you follow the full Mangal morning program, you actually have completed your 64 principles of devotional service, which was advocated by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami established 64 principles of devotional service. All these 64 principles are covered if you follow the full morning program. That's the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's contribution. How much grateful we need to be to him for giving us this process by which we, knowingly, unknowingly, we just some other finished, follow this process. Whether you know it or you don't know it, we are following that principles. We are actually fulfilling all those. We are following those 64 principles of devotional service. Everything is there in that. So if you go through the nectar of devotion, go through the 61 and see what all we do in the whole morning program, and we find that everything is already done over there. That's his beauty. And he said that, everyone, I have made these temples and the morning program not only for the brahmacharis staying in temple, but for grahasthas to come and take advantage of this. So he expected grahasthas to come to the temple and chant with the devotees, attend the morning Mangalarti, everything. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what he did. The fourth contribution is that Rath Yatras. You know, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. Who would have imagined that the Rath Yatras would be celebrated or will be uh, held in each and every place in the whole world. Everywhere you find a Rath Yatras are being organized, and people have come to know that Lord is coming. Once in a year, we are having Rath Yatras. Prasadam is distributed, and people on the streets they can take darshan. You know, New York City, there is this Rath Yatra being organized every year. That particular street is closed for Rath Yatra on that particular day. So you can imagine, his contribution. People were able to connect. Now, if you talk about Rath Yatra, anywhere in any part of the world, people know what it is. If they don't know, if they don't go to temple also, that's fine. But they say, oh, I attended one Rath Yatra. I know there is one Rath Yatra. I was there for that Rath Yatra. I was there for that festival. Like that, So you can imagine this is what Srila Prabhupada did for all of us, basically. Srila Prabhupada in his personal life, how he made himself so relevant. Like, he did not go and preach Krishna consciousness philosophy right in the beginning. He connected with them. He connected with all of them. He personally prepared prasad for them, Iskcon bullets, And then later on, when they were connected, and that time, then he would give them the principles, what is expected of them. When they got initiated, when the International Society for Krishna Consciousness was being established, till then they did not know that they're supposed to follow the four regular principles and all those things. They came to know at that time that they're supposed to follow the four regular principles. No meditating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. But otherwise, he just started at Tompkins Square Park by just sitting and doing kirtan and just attracting the crowd, But how he connected with them, how he connected with Yamuna Mataji, when he is a person who got his disciples married. As a sannyasi, you cannot, engage in marrying your disciples. But he's a person who actually got them married just so that he can connect with them, just make them, some or the other connect, make that relevant to them so that they can get attached to what he is doing, and they can also follow whatever he is doing and whatever he is saying. So that's the way Srila Prabhupada actually connected with all of them. And whatever the propensities over there, he had you total that propensity. Hayagriva Prabhu said that I am a English master. He said, will you do my editing? Yadurani was a painter. He said, will you paint for the deities? Whatever their propensity was there, he had engaged them in those propensities. That's how he made it relevant for them. Somebody had that inclination to preach. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj said, I just take up this continent. You just go and preach. And that's how he made that. Then he had deity worship being also performed by the women, the Matajis. During Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, because he was sannyasi, he did not allow any women to come in front of him. But Srila Prabhupada understood that, if he has to make Krishna consciousness relevant for the people in the West, then he has to consider men and women equal. They have to given the services, and whatever the propensity, I need to tell the propensity in Krishna service. So deity worship by women was advocated, was given by Srila Prabhupada, allowed them to do deity worship. If it was not for him, probably, we would not have, the Matajis would not have got an opportunity to perform deity worship. Not only that, Mata is allowed to preach, in whatever way they can, they should be preaching. They need to preach. So he engaged Prabhuji's and Mataji's equally to preach Krishna conscious philosophy, because that was what was relevant, and that is what is relevant at this moment for us, while we are here. So this was his contribution. The many more actually, which you can just uh, probably, like uh, add on to whatever you have heard, like how we made preaching in essence, utilities of principle, so many things that how Srila Prabhupada actually did that. This is Srila Prabhupada's uh, contribution for all of us. And Srila Prabhupada expected all of us also to contribute. The way Srila Prabhupada did, his disciples also did the same. According to time, place, circumstances, the disciples started preaching. We have the Iskcon youth programs. We hear how His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj would go and meet the leaders, and speak to them. We know how, like, Bhakti Swapur Damodar Maharaj would, speak to the scientist, where, a proper, attire, suit and boot, and go. Though he was a sannyasi, he would wear those and then go and preach to the scientists. You know, we see so many things, like how Loknath Goswami Maharaj, like how they through Padyatras, with deities on the bullock cart, go through different villages. Otherwise, how is it possible that people in the villages would come to know about it? So he started the Padyatra. Like that, we find that different disciples of Srila Prabhupada are still preaching, were preaching also, and still going on preaching according to the relevance, what was relevant for the society. I would just read out one particular statement of Srila Prabhupada in the first canto, chapter 4, text number 1, purport. Srila Prabhupada is saying that personal realization does not mean that one, out of vanity, should attempt to show one's own learning to try to surpass the previous acharya. He must have full confidence in the previous acharya, and at the same time, he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present a matter for the particular circumstance in a suitable manner. I repeat again, he must have full confidence in the previous acharyas, and at the same time, he must realize the subject matter so nicely that he can present the matter for the particular circumstances in a suitable manner. The original purpose of the text must be maintained. No obscure meaning should be screwed out of it, yet it should present in an interesting manner for the understanding of the audience. So this is what is relevance. So as individuals, we are now in the second generation of devotees from the line of Srila Prabhupada. The question is in front of us. How do we contribute? How do we make it relevant for our society? How do we make it relevant for our own, members of the society? So this is the thought that it should be in everyone's mind, that we need to understand the subject matter. So then what happens? That, we have to have faith in the Shastra. Sadhana aspect comes in our life then now. Srila Prabhupada mentioned purity is a force. As individuals, we need to read the Shastra scrutinizingly. Whatever Srila Prabhupada has given, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, according to our convenience, according to our shamta, our capacity, we need to try to understand the Shastras, whatever we have studied, go deep into the Shastras, study them, and according to our realizations, we should preach to the audience whom we are preaching to. What may be existing 20 years back, the situations are completely different now. Like there was a time when during Prabhupada's time, whoever was in the temple were called as, full-time devotees. So now some grasta, is called as full-time devotee when he has left everything and joined the temple. But now it is mentioned that time 95% of people were inside the temple, but now 99% of people are outside the temple. Only 5% are in the temple. So we need to just preach in a way by which it is relevant to the people whom we are preaching to. We have to find out different ways and means. But to do that, we also have to internalize ourselves by just making our sadhana very strong. Our reading, our maintaining the principles, the four regular principles, especially those of us who have taken initiations. We need to just revisit ourselves and try to understand and try to find out, are we really to the mark? Are we really fulfilling the vows that we have taken? you know so we need to just understand that we need to uh, intensify our sadhana. And when we intensify our sadhana and while we go through the scriptures, you know we can get that realization, understanding that how I can present the same philosophy which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us, which the great acharyas have given us, sampradaya, which Srila Prabhupada has given. How can I preach to the masses at this time? The times have changed. We need to find out different ways to look at our preachings. Now the lockdown has taken place. Definitely in America also lockdown is there. Some places. In India, complete lockdown is there. So different ways by which you can reach out to the people. Like, how we have a Zoom conference. Also, not only that, while we are at home, try to understand, okay, how much I'm supposed to do now. Now I cannot give an excuse ki, I don't have time now. I have all the time in the world. I can just, see what I can do, how I can chant my rounds nicely, how I can get up in the morning and follow all these principles, what I've been spoken to, how I can catch up on the reading that I do. All those things we can utilize that time for that. At the same time, also preaching to people the way they feel they can be connected to. You know, people whom we are preaching, if we just go on, shooting philosophies over them without understanding what is their mindset, probably you will be disconnected. So you need to use your intelligence and try to see in different places, different circumstances, how we can preach Krishna consciousness. To conclude, I'll just once make one sentence, one statement, which our God brother here, one devotee, he just said, very nice it is, one simple sentence. He says, from your place, at your pace, you know, uh, 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 follow the race, join the race, and preach Krishna consciousness. I repeat again, from your place, at your pace, join the race, and preach Krishna consciousness. In other words, from your place means whatever situation you are in, you know, you just preach, you just read, you just intensify, you know, at your pace, whatever pace you may be. You may say, oh, I cannot do so much. Okay, whatever you're able to do that. Somebody is having so much of time to do so many things. He can do so much. But somebody has a family with so many responsibilities, he may do little lesser, but at your pace. But then you join the race. Don't say that I cannot do and don't do nothing. Don't do anything. So you join the race and then practice and preach Krishna consciousness and make it relevant for people whom you are connected to. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Madhupati Prabhu, this is what I wanted to share.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? People can unmute themselves and ask questions. Murlidhar Prabhu.
Yes, I have 10 minutes to spare. I can just do that. If anyone has anything to comment, you can even comment also, Prabhuji. You need not only ask questions, you can also share your realization if you have, any one of you. I just spoke whatever I felt was, relevant to all of us. I'm just preaching to myself also when I'm speaking about it, helping me also to intensify my own sadhana and my own preaching activities.
Hello, Prabhuji. How do you help kids to? How do you teach them? At what age we should start teaching them? Especially doing Ekadashi and doing. I have a 6-year-old and 3-year-old.
You know, my wife is very good at that. So she can talk to you. If she'll come in about a minute's time. If you want, then she can speak to you. Okay. I can also speak, but she'll be able to answer you well.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Just a minute.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat. Yes, what was your question, Mataji?
My kid is 6-year-old and the other kid is 3-year-old. Like, what age we can start helping them to do Ekadashi and Krishna consciousness?
I think according to the scriptures, below 5 years, if the child is not able to do Ekadashi, then it's okay. I'm not saying that they should not do. Like my kids have done it from I have 3 children. The first one had digestion problems. So till 3 years, she could not do Ekadashi, which that food would not suit her. But the other two, they did it right from childhood, because I would make sometimes for them normal food and they would come and eat Ekadashi food from our plate. So Ekadashi can be done from a very young age, but up to 5, if they don't do it for some health reasons or whatever, then it is not considered as an offense, because the child is very small. But after 5 years, we can encourage them to do Ekadashi. So we cannot force children, but we can encourage them. But it's very naturally they take it up, because if they see that parents are doing it, they naturally take it up. You don't even have to explain to them. When they see what we're eating, they eat. The only thing that might be required is that you make that Ekadashi food tasty so that they like it. Because at a very young age, they are more open. They are more open.
Okay.
Once you grow up to become teenagers, then you might start facing challenges. How to make food,
Okay.
appetizing. Young children normally they do what their parents are doing, and after 5-6 years, we can discipline them. We should actually at that age. It's good to discipline them, because whatever they learn at that age, then they will do throughout their life.
Yes, Mataji, that's true. And how do you encourage them to do the Krishna consciousness?
When they are very young, as you, one daughter is 3 years old. When they are very young, they learn just by seeing what you are doing.
Okay.
So whatever you are practicing, they will learn. So in a way, children actually help us to intensify our own Krishna consciousness, because they know we know they are watching.
Yeah.
It is said that the best way to kill a value is to teach it. So
yeah, they will start reminding you.
yeah. If we are practicing, then they will automatically pick up. But with small children, the best way to teach spirituality, I remember once Urmila Mataji was conducting. Urmila Mataji is a very senior devotee of Srila Prabhupada, if you know. And she was conducting a seminar on parenting. So I remember she said 2 things. She said what helps children to progress in Krishna consciousness. One, most important, is stories. Telling them stories about Krishna from Krishna book, or telling them stories about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like I personally did this a lot, because my children love to hear stories. And on any festival day, telling them those stories. Like for example, it's Varadeva appearance. Tell them the story of Varahadev. If it is Rup Goswami appearance day, tell them the story of Rup Goswami. So we are very fortunate that we have a treasure house of stories from Chaitanya Leela, from Krishna Leela, from so many stories. Like now Ram Navami passed. So we have been reading Ramayana with our children every day, a little bit. If we do too much, then they get impatient. But as much as is possible, we have been reading with them. So whatever, you share stories with them. If you go for a program, some children might like to listen when the program is going on. Some children may not. They might just want to play. But if you hear, when you come back home and you tell them that story, they'll say, I heard this. This Prabhuji was saying this. So it's not that they might be hearing the entire lecture, but they definitely pick up a little bit from here and there. But when they are with the mother, then they can relate much more. So whatever time we spend with them is what they get more than we putting on a lecture and expecting them to hear, or taking them to a program and expecting them to hear, especially when they are young.
Yeah.
And this is the time we have, because once they become adolescents, then they may not want to sit with you and listen to you. So this is
Exactly.
a very, very important and crucial phase where a mother spends time and with the child, tells them stories. When we tell them stories, we don't even need to give them the purport or tell them the morals. Their tiny creative brain figures it out on their own. So just share as many stories as you can. Teach them shlokas. Chanakya Pandit said that 0 to 5, we have to pamper the kids. Pamper as in not spoil, but give them a lot of love and affection. But 6 onwards, we have to regulate them, discipline them. So then regulation would be helpful. Like they get up at a particular time according to their routine. They have a bath. Then maybe you can tell them to chant around and lovingly introduce introduce to them. When they are very small, they do it on their own, right? They see you chanting, they are like little monkeys. They'll also put their
Yeah.
hand in the bead bag.
Yeah,
Like,
they ask me like, where is my mala? Like when I take the mala, they ask, where is our mala?
yeah, so this is the good time. Give them a bead bag, give them small beads, and let them do. They feel very nice to put their hand in that bead bag and just do this. They feel very good.
Yeah.
I remember my daughter used to chant 16 rounds. 16 rounds means what? You walk 16 times. And of course, now she is chanting 16 rounds. She is initiated. But chanting, you inspire them to chant. When they are young, they will follow that regulation. They will chant a certain number of rounds. And also, you can teach shlokas, Bhagavad Gita shlokas, by hearing it yourself, learning it, and then you can tell them we learn together, and you can do it that way. And it could be like a challenge, make it like a game. So they will learn, and they can learn. Their memory is very good. Children have a very wonderful memory. So they learn much faster than us also. They will learn so many shlokas. And the beauty of shlokas is whether you understand the meaning or not, you get the benefit just by reciting it. So shloka recitation, telling stories, and most important is festivals. If children take part in festivals, they develop love for Krishna because it's so wonderful. And last but not the least,
Mhm.
we inspire them, but we don't become an obstacle in their Krishna consciousness. Our behavior is such that by seeing us, they feel inspired to move towards Krishna and not away from Krishna. As parents, we are responsible for their nourishment. Hare Krishna. So we do that with all responsibility, maturity, and love. I end with this: each child is different according to their nature, according to what will benefit them and what will inspire them. We use that technique. Like my kids are grown up now, they are teenagers. And whenever I learn something new, we want to try it on them, right? And my kids immediately understand. They say, what? Abhi naya kya seekh ke aaye ho?
Acha.
So don't experiment on us. So when kids are small, especially, they need
Mhm.
love, care, and regulation.
Okay.
Smaller one, no, maybe she may not, but she or he may. Seeing the elder child, they
Huh.
also do whatever the child is.
Like even my younger one, 3-year-old, he also comes and hold his mala.
Yeah. So first is telling them stories.
Stories.
Second is teaching them shlokas.
Mm-hmm.
Third is doing festivals or doing deity worship according to your capacity. And
Yeah, we
fourth,
have Krishna and Shivling also we have, so they love to give the shower to Shivling.
yeah, and
And Krishna deity, the baby Krishna we have.
that's wonderful. And the fourth thing, Mataji, is small acts of service. If we
Mhm.
teach them right from childhood, then that will also help them to get blessings of Vaishnavas and blessings of Krishna. And worshipping Tulsi Devi, which is very, very simple, but a very, very profound
How do we
devotional.
worship Tulsi Devi?
I don't know whether I have so much time here, but at least you can ask them to put water for Tulsi Devi every day. And maybe you can discuss with your devotee community and they can teach you how Tulsi Aarti is.
Oh, for sure.
They may not do the whole Aarti now, maybe if for safety purpose, but the older one, I'm sure you can teach. So Tulsi Devi actually engages us in Shishi Radha Krishna's service, and she protects our physical, mental, spiritual state. So at least we can teach them to put water for Tulsi Devi, do the pradakshina, and pray for this, that, oh Tulsi Devi, please engage us in your service. Please protect us physically, mentally, spiritually. Please give us the strength to accept what is favorable and reject what is not favorable for devotional service.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It was very useful.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hari
you.
Bol. Hare Krishna.
Anyone has anything else, Prabhuji? Mataji?
Thank you very much, Murlidhar Prabhu and Radharani Mataji. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Anybody has questions? Discussions? Devkinandan Prabhu, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, pranam.
Prabhuji Pranam, Dandavat.
Hari Hari.
We are indebted to you and Radharani Mataji for sharing such a wonderful Krishna conscious wisdom. Mataji shared so many wonderful points about parenting, making it relevant to our families. Like you mentioned so nicely how Goswamis and Srila Prabhupada made the preaching very relevant to the people. So Mataji made so many wonderful points to help this Mataji who was asking questions. We're indebted to you for your wonderful contributions. Please come on this virtual call again and again so devotees can benefit from your tremendous amount of Krishna conscious wisdom. Many people have wisdom, but how that wisdom can be transformed using your Krishna conscious heart, that's very special. And by Krishna's grace, our Murlidhar Prabhu and our Radharani Mataji and children, it's an amazing example in Radha Gopinath temple. Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve all of you.
Thank you.
Prabhu, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Murlidhar Prabhu.
Thank you all of you for giving me a patient listening, and thank you for allowing me to serve all of you. Maybe I'll get an opportunity once again to serve you in some way. Hare Krishna. Madhupati
Hare
Prabhu, Hari
Krishna.
Bol.
Hari Bol,
Hare
Hare
all
Krishna.
of you, Prabhujis and Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you very
Krishna.
much. Yeah.
Dandavat.
So we'll have our japathon tomorrow from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then tomorrow the Bhagavatam class in the morning will be given by Madhavananda Prabhu from all the way from Puri. Right now he's in Mayapur, so all the way from Sridham Mayapur. And then tomorrow evening as part of our Sunday program, starting at 6 p.m. We'll have, starting with Kirtan, the Nityananda Prabhu, Temple President of Dallas, is going to give us a Krishna Katha lecture from 6:30 to 7:30, and then His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj will also be speaking tomorrow from 8 to 9 in the evening. So we have 2 lectures tomorrow, and by these wonderful devotees, Nityananda Prabhu, Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So please take this opportunity to absorb more in hearing about Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhayascha kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavane vayo vaishnave vayo namo namaha vaishnavindaki jai.